Hello. Today I would like to talk about a particularly fascinating book. But firstly, have you ever wondered what it would be like to wake up in the morning, to walk outside and find that you are the last person on earth? To look around and see cars just stopped in the middle of the road with their drivers gone, walk down to the park, there's no one there, there's no one out in their gardens. I mean, if you're living in Melbourne at the moment, that kind of feels like stage 4 lockdown. But if you're interested in reading a story about what that would be like, and you'd like to read one that was written before that sort of storyline became a trope, a standard thing in genre and in movies, Craig Harrison's The Quiet Earth is a book that I can strongly recommend. So this book was published in 1981 in New Zealand, and it follows the story of Joe Hobson, who wakes up one morning at 6:12 a.m, as on the cover, in a country town motel, and realises that he is the last person left in the town. When he walks out, there are cars with their drivers gone, the engine's still running, there are hoses still going in gardens, but there's no one there. Ovens are still on, but everybody in the town has disappeared and he's the last person. And as he leaves the town and travels around New Zealand, he starts to realise that he may well be the last man on earth. And the book sort of delves into what that does to him and how it affects his mind, believing he might be the last person, and follows him as he travels around New Zealand and starts to figure out perhaps why everybody else in the world has disappeared and why he's the last person left alive. But maybe he might not be the absolute last person left alive. There might have been one or two other people who survived. And as he looks for them, the book moves beyond just being a science fiction novel into exploring some really interesting territory in the culture of New Zealand at the time, in particular relations between European New Zealanders and Maori New Zealanders, and some of the negative attitudes and issues between the two. In particular, you get an insight into John Hobson's head, and he holds some pretty, by our standards, outdated and offensive views towards Maori people. And the book is a really interesting way of exploring some of those issues in New Zealand society. Anyway, this book is an absolute classic. I strongly recommend it. It was made into a famous film starring Bruno Lawrence that came out in 1985. It's a great movie. I recommend you watch it, although it is a little bit different from the book. And if you are interested in reading this, you can download an ebook from Libby, which you can access via the library website. If you do, I hope you enjoy it, and I would love to hear what you think of The Quiet Earth. Thank you.